Hey, yeah. So,
Were you the only one who didn't get paid, Brandon? I'm just kidding.
I have not seen a dime from this movie.
It's just money.
You guys got paid?
I didn't.
I know.
But yeah. So,
Wait. Did we just hijack this guy's podcast?
No.
No, he's
Because I'm like, I heard you ask a question at the beginning, and like, I haven't heard. I'm like,
This is one question per hour of discussion.
No,
and I'm like, I didn't even answer the question.
No, these are
Paul just took over and started asking questions.
No, this is totally for you guys. No, I'm just honored to sit here and listen to the stories. I mean, this is cool because I talked to different independent, directors, and they have their little knit group, and just hearing the stories, what y'all are saying, everybody does that in the independent. I mean, you got a guy, like you said, painting the wall. You got a guy, doing this or that and holding the light, and
blowing
you can see
scum through a straw.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm enjoying this. So yeah, I don't mind at all. I'm just sitting here listening.
And you watched the movie?
Oh yeah.
More than once?
Yes, I have.
The way I always tell people to watch it is I say, watch the movie, then watch the excellent commentary. I do think our director's commentary or our DVD commentary holds up to like Hollywood pictures. I always tell them, watch the movie, watch it with the commentary, and then watch it regular.
No, I didn't get to see it on a short story. How I even came, to know this film is, my wife heard about it. Someone in Beeville, and she was like, I got to find my DVD copy because my husband loves B movies and independent stuff, and she couldn't find it. So then I start looking, okay, well, who made this? and it just led up to this moment right now. So I hadn't seen the DVD or seen the commentary or heard the commentary, but I look forward to it.
I got 2 copies.
I gotta go back and edit it now. These days you can get canceled real fast because all I can remember is that Paul interviewed me while we were doing like some promotional shoot, and I just, I was 17, just so dumb. And I'm like, every so often I watch a video, I'm like, I gotta email him and be like, you gotta take this down, man, because my family had recently done very well for themselves. My dad was like, we're gonna go on a trip, which was like, and he was gonna take us somewhere, and I just felt like it's such a, very just so, like I said, 17, and I'm like, I don't know, we're gonna go to like the White House or whatever, and I don't know, maybe we find some homeless people because we can't like get a tour through it all, and it just sounds so just obnoxious, and I'm slightly embarrassed to be like, God, that's like, there's just a phase of your life that you haven't learned how to think before you speak.
Yeah.
That I'm trying to like actively eliminate. So I'm hoping the commentary on that does not eventually cancel me one day.
No, of course not. Okay, so let me so it's all Aaron's fault, Aaron Poe. It's all his fault. The reason why all of us are here today. I mean, like, dude, like, what was it, like 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something? He messaged me on Facebook asking me about this movie Scum that his wife had told him about, and we were friends on Facebook. I don't even know how we became friends on Facebook, but he messaged me and he started asking me about Scum. And I was like, yeah, I made that movie back in the day, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, I really want to see it. And I'm like, well, I don't have any, I don't have any copies. I have one copy that's sealed still, and that's mine. So then,
the original?
Yeah. So my brother got a copy from one of his friends who just mailed it to him. He's like, hey, I found this. You might want it. So then Aaron wanted to see the movie. So then I was like, okay, well, let me ask my brother if he can rip it and then just kind of put it online so that anybody, because I get asked I used to get asked a lot, like whenever I lived in town, they were always like, hey, how can I see the movie? Can
give us $1,000 and we'll give you a copy of one of the sealed DVDs.
I actually had one guy. one guy offered me $100 for my copy, and I was like, no, it's cool. So then my brother, he kept trying to rip the movie, and eventually he did. And then he messaged me. He's like, "Hey, do you want me to put it on YouTube?" And I was like, "Whoa, hold on, not yet." Because me and Aaron had already been talking a lot, and so then I was like, "Well, like put it on there, put it on a private link, and then let's kind of make it a thing." It's been 11 years since this movie came out, so let's just try and make this a thing. And so then I started to promote the release on April 1st, which I thought was funny because people don't believe it's actually coming out. They think it's an April Fool's joke. So then, like, Aaron, did you ask something about a reunion, or did you talk about a reunion or something?
I know we were messaging back and forth, and I was like, yeah, man, that'd be cool to get everybody, back together, and just talk about it, the movie. And then all I did was I had a little match, and I just like kind of set it near the gasoline, and he kicked it over, and now it's all everywhere. So I guess it is my fault because I started the flame, but I mean, that's the only credit I want, because this is just, I'm a big fan of stuff like this. I really am. I love independent features. I've been into them for a while, and I think I've said this to Paul before, but I can tell the heart that it took to get this thing done. And I know there's headaches and heartaches, but it also seemed like you guys had a lot of fun doing it. And you can really tell that by watching this and like, wow, this is neat, and it's just so much stuff to talk about, but I really enjoy it. And of course I love grindhouse type features. So he already had me when the grain and everything. I was like, this looks like an old film. I love it. So.
And I would say in post, like there were so many comedic moments, that you added in and found that were really a cool thing, because it's one thing to shoot it, how you edit it together, it's a totally other thing. Of Paul, I mean, I was like so shocked. I remember watching it and being like, oh my gosh, there's so many moments that you found in the post-production process.
Hold on, Kelly. Ask him if those funny moments. Ask him if those funny moments were supposed to be in there.
Really? Hey man, whatever works.
Whatever works.
That's what I said. Whatever works
counts, because you still got it made, and it still takes vision, and it still takes a real tenacity, and everybody being for the project, and whatever way you get motivated. Whether you have to have a drink on set sometimes, or like it's. I can very much. I have so much empathy, I guess, and respect for it.
Well, Kelly, you weren't there for the San Antonio screening, but we showed it there in San Antonio
at the Alamo Draft House. Yeah.
Yes, and everybody was laughing at the way that Dad was eating the food, and that's when we found out that was a funny scene. No, we didn't know. We had seen that, as we watched the edits back, and we, saw what we were going through. Okay, we could do this, and then we played it in front of an audience, and we found out how funny people thought that scene was. Just the things you discover when you let another set of eyes see it.
Well, I know for me, like I tried to bring just a little bit with certain things. Like I was the only person that got scummed in the face 3 times throughout the whole damn movie.
Yeah, I think I actually shot that at you.
Because your name is BJ.
So each time it happened, it was son of a bitch. And then it got more and more, But that San Antonio thing, that was one of my favorite stories that Paul told me, that because Kelly's last name was misspelled and my name, it was Brandon Maldonado, Kelly Creamers, and BJ Styles starring in Scum. And people were like, what kind of movie is this?
Oh, I wish I could say that's the first time that's been a mistake with my name. And I'm like, now I know my porn star name would be a show. Like Kelly Creamers. It is. But and the fact it's like an 80s movie too is just like even more. But I will say, today that like it's very cool because things like movies like It Follows have taken off, and they have a real similarity and in tone to what you made.
Yeah, I was way ahead of my time.
You know, Paul, somebody told me that when they asked me about the movie, they were like, well, what's it about? Zombie, you know, I told them it's about zombies, kind of, you know, because they're, you know, zombies or whatever. And he pulled me aside. This was the CEO of Bill Miller's at the time. He pulled me aside. He said, "You guys were ahead of your time. You know how the Walking Dead's taking off."
Oh, yeah.
And you know, so
I'll take it.
I told him we were the reason for
I'm
the rise
sorry.
of
Are we
zombies.
doing costume changes?
Yeah, I was about to ask.
I
What
was about
the
to be like,
hell
how
are
much
you
does
doing?
Brandon get? Is this the Oscars? You have your like, how many times you get to have wardrobe change?
No, my thing was this is a B movie, and it took you guys that long to realize that the costumes weren't the same throughout. I did that on
Costume
purpose.
was the same.
Oh shit, that's awesome.
Because
man.
that was my homage to Scum and my hair. Like it changes every scene.
Hair, dude.
Yeah.
Watched it last night. The hair.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to rewatch
don't
this.
even-
I will say that there was a couple people a few years ago. I used to have like Sundays Club for regulars, and I told them about the film because I ran into that guy, and I was like, "I'm famous. They know me," and they were like, "Where?" And like they had to hunt it down. And now a few people were like, "When we're doing screening, I got to see this," because I was like, it was so good, like because you did turn to really find some comedic moments, whether that was your intention or not. That's the beauty of filmmaking, though. Like you sometimes know, and Sidney Lumet talks a lot about this, like in his book of like when he's talking Dog Day Afternoon of what it, you know, how he's like, you sometimes you're making movies and like you want it to be this, you're really, you know, you cast it a certain way, you get everything there, and it falls flat. And there's days that you're like sitting on set and you're like, this is kind of becoming something, and you can see it because you know, and every step of the process matters and adds up to that. So
Yeah. It was a strange thing because, you know, like for so long, I kind of just hadn't even thought about it. I had such a bad experience shooting my second feature film, which was a romantic dramedy. I just had this horrible experience that after finishing that and all the craziness that happened with that, I kind of just said, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and write. You know, I don't need a budget to write a book, you know? So that's why I just kind of left filmmaking behind. And I was like, nah, you know, I shot a music video or two since then, but it's just kind of like, yeah, it kind of broke my heart, you know, like the last feature film. And then like whenever Aaron starts asking me about Scum, and we're actually, a movie has its first review out. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but if you go to our Facebook page, somebody actually reviewed it. The review came out this morning, and I think we're expecting 2 more before the movie gets released on Thursday. So, so yeah. So like hearing his thoughts and hearing like a lot of positive things from this guy that we don't even know, you know, just hearing him like talk about it, and then hearing like Aaron, you know, like asking me like these like really in-depth questions about the movie, and you know, like, you know, it's like, wow, like we actually made a movie that people care about outside of Beeville, because of course we go to Beeville, and I don't know how many times you get hit up, Brandon, but anytime I go to Beeville,
No. I've been asked, but it would be in Kennedy. Well, actually, I wound up working with Albert's brother, and he was like, "Have you ever heard of this movie Scum?" I was like, "Yeah, I've heard of it." He's like, "Oh, it's terrible. My brother was in it. It's terrible." And I was like, "Yeah, I was the star of that movie."
Wow.
Yeah, and then when they found out about it, you know, a few of the guys there saw the trailers on YouTube, and they're dying to see it, dude. But like, I don't know, man. I have a love-hate relationship with this movie. So I don't know. There's periods where I like love it, I show it off, and then there's periods where I'm like embarrassed and I don't want people to see it.
Why? Explain yourself.
Dude, you know, man. Show it to somebody if they think it's boring or something like that. You know, we put a lot of heart into, you know, effort into it. I don't know. It's a bummer sometimes.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna be like, yo, that's just like making films. There's always be somebody who's like, oh, it sucks. Like, there's haters are like everywhere. It's more of like, I will tell you this though, like,
never had anybody say they didn't like it.
I know, and it's like it's entertaining. You know, you have to look at it like for what the audience is looking for and what you're trying to achieve with it. And I will say that it is like, you know, for what it is, it's not an unsuccessful film. And like I said, just how many people I know on a daily basis who never finish a script, never make it to production, to like have followed through with that. Like I'm always, to quote, you know, FDR of like, it's always easier. It's the man in the arena. Like that's like when people say things like that, I'm like, you know, haters gonna hate. What shit do you have to show for it? Like because
No, it's not necessarily that. It's just that I'm my biggest critic, and like I don't know. I watch it back and I cringe so much.
You don't dislike the movie. You dislike your character.
No, I dislike my acting. But then if you go and watch Burning Bridges, like man, you can see the growth of my acting. Like,
Yeah,
I will
that's
say
on YouTube.
I'm a little bit on Brandon's side only because when I go back and I look at it, that was a really bad time in my life. Like I could see how my health was deteriorating. Like there was times where I look at it and I'm like, oh my God, I was anorexic. You know, I looked like I was fixing to become one of those zombie people. You know, but I will say, because I'm almost done. I have some things I have to take care of. I will say that when I was a kid, I spent most of my childhood and teenage years trying to get into the entertainment industry. And it never worked out for one reason or another. And I finally got my chance with Paul and Brandon and Kelly in this low budget independent film. And I have a copy of it. And now I've been immortalized thanks to that, you know? So when it becomes bigger and bigger, so you know, I still have my script.
Wow. Wow.
And I have everything highlighted. You know, all the notes, all the here's where you need to change this, here's where you have to say this, here's the location we're going. You know, I have my original script that Paul handed to me the first day that he gave me the part. And you know, this thing has been through hell and back, but it is something that I will forever cherish. And I am grateful that I got to meet all of y'all. You know, y'all have brought a better side of me out than I could have ever hoped for. And for that, thank you.
Well, you know what, BJ? Thank you, man. Thank you for everything you did, because you did a lot. You did a lot in the movie. Yeah.
It was my pleasure.
Truly. And it's cool because it's like, honestly, I will say that you learn from every project. I mean, every project I look back at my acting and I'm like, oh, and there's where I check out. But then you also show to people, they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, I can see it. How can, you know, that there's the point is, I think it's to be people that are, you know, you did it though. And then you learn and you move on and you just keep doing, because that's the only way that you'll ever really experience growth. And there's just like, I live in a mecca of people. I'm like, there's always going to be people out there who have their opinions of what they think it should be, or even just like they provide criticism. You're like, well, in what context? Like, what were you looking for when you sat in the, you know, theater? What were you like? What was your expectation? Because lots of times I feel like it's a little bit of like debunking what the critics were trying to do or say. And that's like, I mean, I've been to enough film festivals now, from, you know, Sundance to Monte Carlo, and it's very interesting, like what people are looking for and what they value in film, whether it's the story, the characters, the acting, and what they put heavy emphasis on. And so it really is, you know, so what it is to be an artist, that they're, you know, the critics, it's an opinion. And as there are opinions that are negative, there are always opinions that are positive. But I think that it's the important thing is that you showed up and you did it, and then you know, you move forward with life. And if this is the only thing that you ever do in the acting world, or you continue it or not, like BJ was saying, that it becomes part of what where you were at that time. And I always think it's cool to look back and really remember to be like, I mean, like I said, I look back and I'm like, those little like videos and I'm like, God, it was stupid and blonde. But you know, it's whatever. It's like, you just kind of move forward from it. And there are definitely people who I think, like I said, it was before its time. Now there are a ton of films and what it has, the zombie has gone on to like these movies and it's gone on to TV, which has turned into a totally different animal in the past 10 years.
Yeah.
And then there's also stuff that like doesn't find its marketing and find a cult following later. Sorry, the producer in me is coming out.
It's like I think the only harsh word I ever heard about the movie was probably from that video that I released of Scum is whack. I think we still have it on
I remember that.
Yeah, and it's like I had to put it up, because it was just really funny. But no, I mean, I find out that like as I go on, like even Aaron, he's telling me like how much he liked the movie and all this stuff. And I was like, man, that's like this thing we did, like, I mean, we did it like 14 years ago and we released it 11 years ago. And just to see that like people actually like it, and it was just this thing that we did, that we all just came together to do. And it's kind of slowly but surely finding its audience. And now that it's going to be released to the world, I think the guy that reviewed it, I think he's from, I keep wanting to say Canada, but I think I might be wrong. Just hearing what he had to say about it and how much he liked it, and how there's like, and talking to Aaron, he's like, well, now there's this niche, of these kind of films that are out there and are getting appreciated by everybody. And now here we are, like 11 years later, we're releasing it to the wild. And I think that, I think we did good, I think we did a good job.
Oh yeah.
Hey, did BJ say he was leaving soon?
Yes.
BJ, Kelly, Paul, do y'all remember when we were filming that one scene and we all said, oh, now, do you remember what it was when we all, after we cut, we're like, wow, this is when it feels like it's a movie. Do y'all remember when that was?
Yeah, it was in Homeboy's living room whenever he had to give the speech about what the Scum was, and like I feel bad because it's like
long ass speech.
Yes.
I don't remember what it was, but I don't remember it was BJ. Okay.
Yeah, and it's like I felt so bad because like I shot it and I think it came out okay, but it's not the way that it should have been in the movie because I was just watching him, and then you see that the light's not right, and it's a little too dark, and I'm just like, and then the camera angle's just not right, and I'm like, hooray, BJ! But god dang it, I was too busy watching you,
right? And the stupid look on all of our faces afterwards, because it was like that realization he's doing it, and I know the camera's not on me, so I kind of crack a smile, and it's like, whoa, I've seen that on screen before. We're doing that.
Yeah.
That was a good day.
It was
good work, BJ. Now, BJ, do you also remember how many times we did that scene behind Dairy Mart?
Yeah, there was like a good 20 times.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And Kelly, do you remember the day I got the giggles?
I remember, yes, I do. I remember all these moments, and I don't think I was there the Dairy Mart day, but I saw footage from it, and it's like, I mean, I wish because I shot a feature last summer that, like, once again, and like the director was like, all right, listen, the camera's gonna pan across your face. Can I have a tear come down right as it gets in your face? And you're just like, give me a second. I'm gonna try my best, but like, I need a second. Like, where they're like, there's so many things that it's always like a really cool thing when everybody like comes together and makes those like really interesting moments happen. And yeah, honestly, the giggles, shit, like every couple of years that I feel like that happens, or the reverse is like the crying when they're like, then the director was like, do the crying like right when it pans across your face. I want a teardrop. I made that shit happen, but then they had to do like an over the shoulder, and I couldn't stop crying, so I was like, and I was like trying to like be like, dude, I'm gonna hold this. I'm trying, but like I can't stop. Like I'm so sorry. I don't know how to stop crying. I'm gonna hold it in. It was they might have gotten a shoulder in for me. I don't know.
Well, awesome, guys. Man, I don't know. We've been here almost an hour and a half. Yeah, I guess, I don't know. Is there anything anybody else wants to talk about? Anybody want to bring up?
Yeah, there was that one time, it was Kelly's last week, and we were doing a lot of stuff down there, downtown Beeville, because we were having to finish it up. And I remember, we wrapped up for the night, and you pulled me aside, and you're like, you were kind of making me mad. You and Kelly were making me mad. Y'all were flirting a whole bunch after, in between takes. And I looked at you and I was like, dude, I wasn't flirting with her. She was flirting with me. So,
I wonder if my boyfriend knew about that.
Yeah, I know, right?
But I just remember thinking to myself, I was like, yeah, Paul's just jealous. That's all it is. Now I told that story. Now I don't even remember what I wanted to say.
No, I remember that, like, that scene should have ended with y'all kissing.
Yes, that's what it was going to say.
Hugging.
Yes, I remember you telling me that, and I was like, okay. And I remember being like incredibly nervous that night, because I was like, how am I going to kiss this girl that's, really young, but, really hot. And we never went back to the scene, so I got out of it. Lucky me, right? Yeah, lucky me all these years later.
Wait, but has he not seen that video of where you were like talking to me and we were doing like posts and I'm talking and I go, well, I don't know, I guess I feel like we were supposed to kiss, but that's not going to happen. And you were like, Kelly, you should have said that to me. And I was like, well, I didn't know. Like, I mean, straight. I mean, I would have, like, it's kind of one of those things that like, I didn't know enough about that business or industry. And even now I would say it's really interesting to be
when we filmed that scene, when we filmed it, at the moment, like when we were in the moment acting it out, I was like, this should happen. But you were so young, and it wouldn't have felt right.
Well, it's like, like I've had some people ask me, like, why did they hug? Why didn't they kiss? Like, they might.
You had a boyfriend. Sharp was the ultimate nice guy. Sharp was the ultimate nice guy.
Because they were like they might never see each other again after this.
No.
And all they do is hug. Like, I don't know.
There were some difficulties in the relationship.
I will say that my favorite line that I love to quote from this movie is that obviously the main character's name is Sharp, and my favorite line was goes, "Well, you're a dull one, Sharp." I'll never forget saying that. And it's such a great line, and one of those things that I was like, oh, this is cheesy, but as I get older, I'm like so sentimental about it. I'm like, that was so fun. And
I could see the stupid look on Paul's face as he's typing it up. I know what I'm gonna have her say.
No. This is me. Ha! That was it. I knew that I had written gold.
Yeah.
how writing goes, you're just like, it's just narcissism. That's why you're like, this is so funny. God, why doesn't anyone think this?
Drew, how did you feel about us filming above the furniture store?
How did I feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, we left it,
Dude, there's probably still blood on the walls.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's been up there, probably. I doubt it.
Is that still y'all still own that?
My little brother, it's in my little brother's name. He still has it, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's up for sale though. I don't know.
Gotcha.
No,
I always wondered. I was like, man, we trashed it pretty good.
Yeah, but I doubt anybody's been up there.
Yeah, there's just to kind of explain that a little bit. So Andrew's family owned a furniture store, and the second floor was where we filmed a whole bunch of stuff, because it was empty and falling apart. And I
Looks
guess
great.
I guess we just figured we could do whatever we wanted to up there because nobody
Without
was gonna
asking
care.
permission a lot of times.
Yeah. Hey, go up there. You know what I'm thinking.
Yeah. So if you see like the entire ending of the movie, that was all filmed up there, with our makeshift tentacles. Why tentacles? I don't know. I thought it was an 80s thing to do. So we'll just have this crazy tentacle monster, but yeah, I know that Aaron has asked me along with a lot of people, they want to see a Scum too. What are your guys feelings on that? Because like anytime anybody's ever asked me, I was like, hey, I write books now. I'll write a Scum 2 book. That's fine. But I don't know.
Game, bro. Let me know when.
Same here. I got a box of hair coloring. I can dye the gray. We good to go.
That was a thing with a BJ too. It's like it took so long to shoot the movie that you started to go gray, and then we'd have to color in your beard. Yeah.
That's fun. I think it comes down for me for scheduling. I'm the diva of this group, but I always have projects and works, but I also think that I love making films. I mean, it's really cool to look back and realize this was the beginning of something that I didn't even realize that I would come to love so much, to the point that like it really is like my passion and my love for life. And every time my parents try to drag me back to Texas, I'm like, it's just not going to happen. Like, this is where I have to be to do what I want to do. And I love what you're able to do through film. And it's a really cool process. And that straight up, like, honestly, every day I've worked on high budget stuff and I've worked on low budget stuff. And every day I would choose the low budget because people really want to be there. They really care about the product. They're really trying to do something. They usually take risks in trying to reach for something that isn't done and isn't necessarily like approved by, quote unquote Hollywood. And I always think that is so much more interesting to watch. And this is, like I said, one of the most competitive industries in the world, that it's like, if I'm going to fail, I want to fail while I'm trying to do something and maybe have it recognized later, versus doing the safe, like cookie cutter, copy and paste movies that I often see that I'm like, okay, but it's like the same thing over and over again. Like, I always think there's something really cool and interesting, particularly in what we've all done here together. So, yes.
Kelly, where do we rate in everything you've worked on?
Ooh,
where do me and Paul rate
over here?
Where do me and Paul rate?
Yeah, we're not trying to put it on the.
No, I'm not trying to put it on the
blast.
spot. I'm not trying to put it on the spot. I'm just curious because it was really, really amateurish. That's all I mean.
Oh, I don't think you know what amateur-ish gets to. Okay, like there's a whole other level to what that can actually mean. Okay, there's a lot of people, and even I would say that I've been on really high budget films that I'm like, what are we doing? Like, and that was the craziest part, because I was like, you guys have so much money, like so much money. Why does it look bad? Like, it's like, and there's business people and then there's creatives. And I always think that there's like Hollywood and then there's filmmakers.
And that's why I asked, because you've been around so much more. Like, I don't know.
You probably have to ask me in a more specific way. Like, yes, on bigger stuff, like, you get a trailer and there's like crafties that have like vegan options,
Well, this is not saying it would ever happen, but perfect schedule. You can go back in time, whatever. Would you do it again? Would you film with us again? Like, you're saying it's a positive experience.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Knowing all you know and the chaos that we went through, would you be willing to film in a movie like that again with us?
Well, yeah, man, dude, you made a film. I get to say that I was a lead in a film. Like, I don't think you understand just how hard that is to achieve as an actor. And then to get it to like a theater, anything else like that is you know, a lot of, at least on the acting side of it, is it's a numbers game. You have to keep showing up. And eventually somebody like Margot Robbie says no, and all the other actresses say no. And then it filters down to somebody and you get your shot. But I think that, like, I'm a creative. I want to work with people, and I want to work with people who care about what they do, because there are a lot of people who just really don't. And then even just because they have money doesn't mean that they know what they're doing. A lot of people, and not to throw shade, because I don't mean to generalize with this, but that there are a lot of people, like, you know, the nepotism is fucking real. And it sucks sometimes, because you're like, God, like, if I just had like an in with a dad who was a producer, or the, you know, whatever position. But what really brings me happiness is not necessarily always that the audience adores it. It's what it is to be on set and to enjoy the time you are with people who are just like go hard in the paint people. Like, that's when you really find amazing moments in scripts. Those are when you find the unscripted moments. It's where you find the moments of collaboration that take scripts from just being one thing to being multiple, and that's the best shot I think you can shoot in this industry, because you never know, you know, some years, like with Paul, that it's who knows, if you had like an uncle who was a crazy producer out here and got it in front of the right eyes, where it could have gone. It doesn't mean just because it's in South Texas or because it's on YouTube that it doesn't hold or stand in quality. I mean, there's so much politics that go into getting to that next level of Sundance and South by and you know, Tribeca. Like, there's I've seen a lot of really great filmmakers. I know a lot of them that I'm like, your day will come. You just have to keep showing up and keep making stuff, and eventually meet the right person that's like, yes, this is awesome. And then they have the right contacts to make that into a much bigger film than you could have ever imagined, and get it the attention and the, like, everything you need to qualify for an award that would be, you know, that gives you clout, that certainly gives you freedom in your career.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, even with like my, even with my second feature, even though it was a horrible experience, like, I learned so much about scheduling and budgets and stuff like that. And that's why, you know, my first feature took 2.5 years. My second one took 14 days, you know, like, we went in there and we worked, you know, like, we knew what we had to do, scheduled everything out, got all the locations, and we kind of just knocked it out. I wish people could see it, but there's a lot of issues going on with that. And I don't think they'll ever be resolved. But yeah, I don't know, just kind of revisiting the movie and talking to Aaron, man. Aaron, oh man, I don't know. I'll get to him. I'll get to him in a minute. Let's continue.
Yeah.
Let's continue with the thing. Okay, so Marcus says, sure, he'd do a sequel. Drew, you know, I think we'd have to bring Drew in a lot more, because he kind of ended the movie, you know, by showing up and saving people, and then he's heading out to the building to go.
He's main cast now.
Like,
yeah.
probably have to open with me. I mean, come on.
What'd you say?
Am I muted?
Oh, no.
I said it's probably gonna have to open with me.
I think so.
And me.
And me.
Charlie, crazy son of a bitch.
But it's like, oh,
Yeah,
Marcus yesterday brought up an interesting concept of a spin-off movie also with Smith and Wesson, calling it literally Smith and Wesson, you know, with John Dog Smith and his brother, you know, like they split off and they go do their other thing, you know, and that could be its own movie. But
yeah, that's our
Hobbs and Shaw.
Yes, thank you,
Hobbs
man.
and Shaw.
I used to finish your sentences. Now you're finishing mine.
The Scum universe.
Hey, and with Kelly out there, you know, a couple of bottles could have gotten transported on a boat or a truck, 18-wheeler, and some, you know, it spreads.
Yeah.
Within her purse. Within her purse.
No, but No, but it's funny because like now that all this stuff's happening, I actually started to like think about a storyline and stuff, and I don't know. I mean, there's no saying never. I don't know. I have. I know there's those of us that have families now. I think a lot of us are married now. So
I got married 6 months after we released it in theaters.
You did?
I got married January 3rd, 2011.
Wow. I had my first child, I think 2 years after the movie came out.
Yeah. I remember you asked if your baby mama could stay at our place because there was some issue at the hospital or something. I remember that.
Oh yeah.
That. And I was like, yeah, sure. We'll let somebody I don't know into our place while we're at work.
She gave birth
to baby.
Yeah, she gave birth to Paul's Scum. I don't know.
I have to ask Paul, okay, because this is like, 11 years later. There was a guy on set. Was his name Cobra?
Cobra?
What did he do?
No. Okay. This is like one of those stories that my family will never stop telling. Okay. Because it was the one day that we had like a set visit. Like I think my mom and my sisters came and we were shooting up above the furniture store. And
are you talking about Louis?
Louis.
He played the zombie. I just know he was coming after my feet. Anyway, you cut and you were setting up a new shot and he was talking to me and he goes, "Hey, I think I know you from somewhere." And I was like, "Oh, really? From what?" And he goes, "Do you remember you were backing up in your car?" And
yes, she is.
And you hit somebody.
Yes, she is.
And he was like, and I was like, I what? And he was like, "You hit somebody with your car." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Oh, you don't remember that?" And I was like, "Oh, no, I think I remember if I had hit somebody with my car." And I was so confused. And I was like, "Dude, I don't know what you think you know me from, but this is like very like." And my family was there for the whole thing, and they were like, "What?" And then now my sister's always like, "Well, Cobra knows your darkest secrets." And I was like, "Dude, I swear, never hit anybody with my car."
I don't. I'm gonna have to put my money on Louis. I don't know.
Loyalty. Here I am defending him this whole time.
I mean,
but he introduced himself as Cobra to my whole family, and I was like, dude, I was like, "Yo, I've never like this guy's been around here and there. I don't know if that's his name, but he went by Cobra."
But I don't know. I'm gonna have to chalk it up to Louis.
Was he in the movie?
Yes, he is.
He was a zombie.
And he's the guy coming out the window with his arms flailing?
When I just know that we were in like some sort of like crawl space and I was pulling and he was coming after me. But after that, I was like, I'm concerned about who you are. So I didn't really have to fake a whole lot of being terrified because I was like, who is this guy? Like,
that was Louis.
That was Louis, right?
That was Louis.
I will say that you were like, randomly I give him rides around town. And I was like, do you know him? Like, you guys were like, yo, we need an extra on set today, man. Like,
yeah. I'm gonna have to say it's Louis. Why he introduced himself as Cobra? It's like I have no idea. I don't know.
You see a girl that looks like Kelly, you introduce your name as Cobra. Come on.
Honestly.
Why none of us are with her right now. If he didn't creep her out, they'd be married.
Because his name's Cobra.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm really looking for in a man.
I mean, my Cobra. I want to make this point just because I've got the credits rolling and I paused it. Just a shout out to Randy. Like, man, that guy would have been here tonight if things had been different. But I think other than us gathered here, I mean, he had a great love for this movie. So Randy was the not the dad zombie, but the other zombie that is there in the closing scenes. Yeah, I guess he's the one that bit me, right?
Yeah.
He is the only person that's ever like had an idea that I worked with and made a movie that wasn't based on one of my ideas, and it was because of Scum, just his love for the film. And I think I still have his bloody sticky costume somewhere. He passed away a few years ago from cancer, and he was a real champion of the movie. And I think like us releasing it out into the world like this, it really make him happy. Yeah, he was a really, really cool guy, And we is the short film on YouTube? I don't even remember.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Okay.
I believe it's the actual full on Burning Bridges on YouTube, and then
we have some and stuff.
After we got off the plane, we filmed a little bit there. Some of the making of is on YouTube for that as well. That short.
Okay, I'll put it in the description of this video. This video is actually coming out Thursday. After
heavily edited.
after Scum gets released. Scum is going to be. We're going to do like a premiere thing. Like if you go to my Facebook or my Twitter, we have the link ready so you can subscribe. It's actually getting released on my brother's channel, Staunch TV. He Staunch on TV. He's a really cool guy. He was just in LA 2 weeks ago, chilling with Corey Feldman. So he's working with Corey Feldman on some stuff, and his channel has a whole bunch of cool stuff. So he agreed to host Scum on there, and then we will have the reunion video on my writer's YouTube channel. I know it sounds confusing, but just look in the description and we'll have all our links and everything.
Yeah, I was going to say, put all that information in a group text for us, because
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. I'll work on it.
Now, before I leave, I have one more story for you. I remember going to your mother's house because we were doing a radio interview.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And the guy asked you, so Paul, when did you decide that Hector was going to be an openly gay character? And you were like, yeah, I don't know. It just happened.
Yeah.
He was progressive once again.
That was like really funny because I think I don't know, like I don't even think that even came up. I think you just like showed up and you just kind of like, like did a badass job, and we're like, okay. And then you mentioned to me that you were gay, and I was like, I don't care, whatever. It's like, like I don't care about that stuff, and it's like, like even like you look at our cast, like we have like, well, we have a couple of Mexicans, a couple of half Mexicans, and it's like. Like I really don't care about that stuff. It's the past 2 years, it's really been bothering me, with everything going on in the world and stuff. I'm like, dude, we all live on the same rock. Like, can't we just get along, man?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, it never even fazed me, like, I mean, dude, we were hanging out all the time. So it's like, obviously it didn't bother anybody, or it didn't bother any of the cast. We just had a great time.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, y'all are forever in my heart. I love y'all. You got my number. If you ever need anything, let me know.
Part 2.
See you, BJ.
All right, BJ. Thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Anytime. Y'all take care.
Bye.
Too, sir.
All right. So as we come to the end of this long discussion, I thought it was only going to be an hour. My bad.
We'll be here 45 more minutes.
So I kind of swore off making movies. I was pretty much done with it. That's how bad my second feature film was. I never wanted to do it again. that's why I took up writing, and I'm right in the middle of finishing a novel that should come out later this year, and also in the middle of editing another novella that should be out later this year also. So but just hearing like that people are really liking this movie, and us, and it's all Aaron's fault. It's all
what's funny is we had a great uncle pass away weeks ago, 4 or 5, 6 weeks ago. I'm not sure, date is kind of blurry. But he came down, he's from Colorado, drove up to Minnesota to bring his mom down, and they were in Beeville, and he happened to be at my grandmother's house, and he saw the Scum poster. He saw a picture of me on there, and he's like, what is this? And so he's looking at the Scum poster, reading through it, and he said what sold him on the movie was that the town of Beeville played itself. And so I gave him a copy of the movie, and it seemed just like right after that, me talking to him, that you posted something right after that. And so I was like, man, maybe just the universe and the stars are aligning and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been a strange few weeks, but like this wasn't the first or last movie that I've written. I have a pile of scripts somewhere, on hard drives and stuff. So I don't know. Me and Aaron are kind of discussing some stuff, and maybe you'll see a feature film out of me yet. And I don't know. Maybe I'll holler at you guys, and we'll see what's what.
Speaking of hollering, you said you were gonna get to that second feature link later. Well, this is later. So
talking to Aaron, I've been talking to Aaron about a bunch of my old scripts that I have laying around, and I don't know, he's very, very convincing. So
Aaron, is your podcast is it predominantly like towards indie films, or can you tell us a little bit about it?
The podcast, it started out, we would just watch, old 80s movies. And I actually came into this podcast. I have my own separate thing. Mm-hmm. And, but anyway, we try to focus more on the independent stuff. But then we found that, for instance, we had an independent director, and he did a horror movie called Circus of the Dead. And it just got picked up by Dread Central. And I mean, it's just, like you were saying, it gained steam now, and like people are looking at it. But anyway, I was like, hey, dude, I know you like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You want to come talk about it with us? Sure. And he comes, and, he came and talked about that film with us. And, we let them plug their stuff. But I think it's fun for other people to, like, especially something that influenced them to make what they do, the movies that they make. So, and that's, we mainly talk to them. There's another guy, Eric Christopher Myers. I think he did a found footage called Butterfly Kisses. There's another guy, William Hopkins. He's in New York, and he listens to our show all the time. And he did a movie called Demon Resurrection that Carrie just found on Prime. Yeah. And I really think like these types of films are showing up on Tubi and Prime. And Prime was the first one that I really fell in love with, because I was like, man, there's like a slew of movies. It's just like a never ending video store. And I would just find the weirdest shit, just like when I was a kid, going to the video store, find the weirdest freaking cover I could find, man. And sometimes you get something cool, sometimes not. But now Tubi is following that same thing, and Tubi shows a lot of independent stuff.
Well, that's like, well, I mean, like that's what's so cool about like the age we live in. Like you can go shoot a movie like Scum, and there's all these streaming services now. Like it could pop up anywhere. We're gonna be running the Scum trailer on where at?
Oh yeah, the B Movie TV. For the month of April, it'll show the trailer. Yeah,
on Roku.
On Roku. It's exclusively on Roku. But those guys, Ken is also an independent filmmaker, but he started this channel, and he's out of LA. That's where he's at, or he lives in California out there. but he's the originator of the channel, and we got people all over the place, you know, that do the hosted shows. I have one hosted show I do on Sunday, but he shows a bunch of independent films, and the people reach out to him, hey, can you show my trailer? He's like, yeah, he's open to showing trailers and everything. And yeah, he's a real good guy.
Yeah. And by the way, Aaron is from George West of all places.
You gotta keep it in the family of South Texas.
Yeah, I'm originally from Del Rio, but I've moved up here for work, and then I've just been here for the last 7-8 years.
Where are you?
Del Rio, Texas is where I grew up.
Okay.
That's where I'm originally from.
Yeah, so we kind of just got together, and he's a huge lover of indie horror films, and he has a lot of stuff that I don't know. We'll see. You know, I have a family and 3 kids and a shit ton of ideas. So
I know. Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
I feel like that's why people in Hollywood don't have many kids, or at least not till later in life, because it's a hard thing to do, man. Like it's no joke. It's a lot of work that I'm always like, when people don't love this, I'm like, dude, then do something else, because this is like not worth it. Because the best way I can describe this business is like somewhat being an abusive relationship, and every time you stand up he just smacks you back down and be like, and you suck, like what? And then once in a while, like, but it's like in a way you're slightly an adrenaline junkie, and you find yourself in situations on a really cool set with people who are like just awesome, and you're like, God, that's why I do it. But then you also, you know, then you go on to your next project and you think it lines up, and it doesn't always work out the way you had hoped it would, and it can be, I think, disappointing, which is why it's always cool when you like are aligned and work with people that you got. I do think that that's something special that does exist within Texas, is that there's a certain amount of, I think, like loyalty and perhaps like contracts that are done in a handshake, and that is held up, that I don't necessarily see in the world that I run in on a day-to-day basis. That in a way, you know, and it makes sense, you know, everyone's kind of looking out for themselves because you have to, because it's like the mecca of where it's made. But that's the really cool thing that South Texas offers, and that I do miss, because I'm always like, I'm so loyal, but man, that has screwed me more than once.
Yeah.
Well, it's like with one I tried to fund this movie called A Bad People. This is Aaron's a big fan of this. So I tried to fund this movie back in the day before I made my second feature. And, you know, we couldn't get any money or anything from it. But, you know, like there is some stuff on YouTube with, you know, like some promotional trailers and stuff. And Aaron was like, hey, you know, I know somebody that lives here, and I know this filmmaker, and I know these special effects guys, like they could probably come and do this, and then they can do that. And it's but it's the Texas thing, you know, it's all of these like indie horror film guys that like, we know that, you know, like this is what they do, this is what they want to do, and they can totally call in favors and stuff, you know.
And they don't want to see you fail. They love that, because especially independent film, no matter what genre, I think like she was saying, you know, there's a lot of camaraderie, but then there's also a mutual respect, and no one wants to see anybody fail. Like they're always working together and talking to these other groups of people, you know, like Slasher 15 Productions, which is up in Virginia. He has his little group, and they've made they're on their not second, but this is the newest film they're coming out with, and they just have their little group of people, and man, they're in it to, you know, work on it. You know, his wife's making the mask for the killers, and I mean, it's just neat to see that, and I don't see that anywhere else. And this is the only thing I think is original. The independent thing is the most original stuff, because it reminds you of like back in the heyday of 80s. The weirdest shit, you know, we're going to put this in this movie, and to hell when anybody says, and now it's all superheroes and, you know,
the generation of CGI.
Yeah. It's CGI superheroes. No one really uses practical effects, but the indie people do, you know, so.
Cause they've all read Rebel Without a Crew.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We have. So yeah, I don't know. Aaron has kind of relit the flame.
I was a gnat in his ear. I was a gnat.
So yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Drew, did you just set your shot up there like that, or did Paul and you guys talk yesterday? No, be showing the movie in the background. That way, when it cuts to you, we can see it. Like
Yeah.
That was all him.
That's all
That's all
me.
you? No,
That's
man. Ever the showman. Ever the showman.
Beautiful.
You don't see the DVD like standing up over here?
Oh, I do now. Can't lie. All right.
I have
Oh,
my
man.
Amazing.
I have my first book right there behind me. So yeah. Anyway, so all right, guys. I think we've wow, we spent 2 hours. Interesting.
Yeah.
You didn't even let Aaron ask any questions.
Man, I know, and I hope to talk to y'all again. Open invitation on the podcast as well. If you want to come and talk movies with us or talk about what you're doing, more than happy to have you.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, thanks for having us, man. Like, I always love talking to other filmmakers and people who are interested in it because it.
He was talking to me, guys. He's talking to me.
Yeah, the star of the film. Okay.
Exactly. Sharp.
I'm kidding.
Did I not tell you that I literally, my line was, he's a dull one? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yes.
That's all.
This is those Hollywood people you were talking about that will
Don't.
stab you in the back.
Don't worry, Kelly. You'll be the first one. You'll be the first one. Brandon will be second.
Or third.
Yeah. I can't forget one of my favorite characters.
There you go. All right, guys. Is there anything else you guys want to end on? You guys want to promote yourselves? Kind of want to say anything about yourselves? We'll start with Drew over there. What are you doing these days?
Well, not a whole lot. Work, kids, but I do still play music. So if you ever want to do something like another movie, you let me know.
Motherfucker, you're like #1 on the speed dial for music, man. dude. I mean, like people, they love the soundtrack, dude.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and then like it made me so mad whenever Stranger Things came out. I'm like, no, Drew did that first, like you're like we were bringing that back. Stranger Things.
Like I watched the movie last night again. It's been so long since I've seen it. I watched it again. I was like, in hindsight, it was like, man, there's so much more I could have done.
Yeah.
So
well, hey, man, we're looking into releasing it on vinyl. So if that happens, we'll let you know, man. And maybe we can sweeten it up a little bit or something.
Yeah.
Hey, Drew. So I recently inherited a truck that has a tape player in it, and so I went digging through tapes the other day, and I found that tape of us jamming. It's me, you, and I believe it's Jacob Blanco on drums. Where we recorded 6 songs. I found that tape the other day. So I was cruising the mean streets of Beeville, jamming out to that.
I think
it's songs like Liar, Liar.
Was that a coma?
Where you had to like 2 fingers to record?
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn, I want to hear that.
You guys are dating yourselves hardcore.
We won't talk about those years.
Yeah. Kelly, what you got? What you got coming up?
Oh man, it's pilot season, so it's busy. It's just auditioning all the time and just keep showing up. But like I said, other than that, it's a screenplay I wrote about the women in World War II. It's based on a true story with fictional characters because I did not get the rights to it. To the book, but it's only a limited amount. But I thought it was a really cool story, so I kind of polished that during COVID and was able to really get a couple of like historian figures on board with it to really get that going. And I'm rethinking about shooting a proof of concept to it because the original one was a bit more comedically driven. And I built a foxhole in my garage and it was a whole thing. See, and that's the indie film. It's like literally we like had to reverse everything. We only had like half of it built and trying to like get the smoke machine going. I totally understand it and have so much respect. But so it's just auditioning like crazy and right now, and then hopefully, something comes of this and not, you find, the next path.
Okay. Like, whenever I texted well, I messaged Kelly on Instagram, and then she gave me her number, and I texted her, and we're trying to figure out the date, and then she said, "Oh, I'm in LA, by the way," and I'm like, I know you're in LA. I've been keeping my eye on you. I want to know what you're doing, because it's like I got to see like this little 17-year-old girl be in my movie, and now you're out in LA. It's like, yeah, I have been following you, and I'm really interested in seeing what you can do and how far you can go. It's great to hear that like that you've reached beyond just acting, and like you're doing producing and all this stuff. It's great. Yeah,
it does nothing but really add to understanding more of like what everybody else is like. I hear some of the actors, I'm like, bro, do you know what you're asking the crew to do right now? Like, and it really does. Or even just being able to be like an extra asset on set to be like, and we're holding for sound, and then just pick up right where you left off. Like how much those little things really do add up. And I know my dad's like, so you're gonna start writing now? And I was like, no, I still like acting more, but I will say that like the journey I went through of learning filmmaking and learning those terms and understanding how a set functions, that you walked in with a totally different mindset as an actor, because you're just like I know what it's like to be like part of the crew, because I've done my fair share now of working on I've done every job on set.
yeah.
From the best boy to a producer, and I'm like, there's and when you're wearing on indie films, you're often wearing, and I did on something I produced like 2 summers ago, that I'm like, you're wearing 7 hats. Like normally you would have department heads, and then you have people, so you really do have a respect for the job and understand just how hard it is to take it from just an idea and written words on a page to actually allow like an audience to enjoy it or connect to whatever you're doing. And it has, really instrumentally changed how I view this business, and it has unfortunately made me fall more in love with it. So I'm just kind of stuck out here. Yeah. But I really, I enjoy doing this stuff all the time. So I hope that for whatever endeavors everyone goes on, that we can always stay in touch and hopefully, reconnect at some point.
Yeah, one of the coolest things about writing, directing, and shooting a movie is there was a few times while we were making Scum where I would just kind of lean back and be like, man, these guys are like the people that I wrote on page, and they're standing right in front of me, and they're saying the things that like I wrote. It was just it's like the strangest thing, and then that's when you start realizing like, yeah, movie making's magic, like it's a crazy thing that exists that not everybody can do, but everybody can enjoy, and like it all starts with like just like this small group of people, And,
totally. And when it's cast well, I've done casting for things where I'm like, you give them generally like the older script, and then I'm like, and they start improvising lines that you've already written. And I'm like, that's like incredible. And it's a really, I totally get it. It's a neat thing.
Well, I was gonna ask Brandon something, but he's gone, and John Dog Smith is gone.
I know. Was Brandon's couch from the film? It looked like it's from the 80s, man.
You're talking about my $10 Goodwill couch?
Wait, I thought you were gonna have another wardrobe change.
No, I was trying to look for a picture, and now I'm gonna have to argue with my wife because she took it somewhere. I was gonna show that picture of me, Paul, Marcus, and Drew walking down the aisle at our graduation. It's just funny how like it was the 4 of us graduate, whatever. No, I was gonna say, man, I really miss this group. I know we all have our own separate lives, and we're dads or we're husbands or we're whatever our title is now. But I really do miss this group that, man, just how creative we were in Skidmore of all places, And so I miss this group, whether it was music, whether it was just doing random stupid stuff in the hallways of Skidmore during lunch or movies, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Was everybody from Skidmore this whole time?
Yes.
All of us here
That's what
except for
Not
Aaron
quite.
and you.
When I was talking trash earlier, I definitely forgot that part.
Yeah,
No,
Skid Rat.
We're all skid
No, no,
rats.
well, yeah, no.
Because my
most of
did
us
it. We
skid
did
rats
it.
that lived in Beeville, but
Yeah.
people's not better. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it was it's crazy. I never even thought about us sitting here 11 years later talking about this thing that we did, you know. I don't know. It's just it's
it's
a
the
crazy
last
thing.
thing holding this group together because I don't ever hang out with Drew. I don't ever hang out with Marcus. Me and Paul don't talk like we used to, and so like this is it. This is our baby. This is the child that keeps the divorced parents from, or the parents that are headed to a divorce. It keeps us together.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. One of the ideas that I was tossing up for the Scum sequel was, like it will take place however long it takes. Like the 11 years, 15 years, whatever, where you and Jill have a child, but you'll have to come back. What?
Dude, you always throw stuff in the script that is so hard to film. Keep it simple, man.
We have kids.
Do you guys not have
I understand we have kids.
Yeah,
I have one
children
kid,
now.
and he's too much for me. I don't know how you had 3.
Okay, you're crazy. I literally convinced my sister to be like, listen, I take pictures of her with her kids over COVID. And I was like, I've submitted us for commercial deals. If I get it in New York, I'm stopping through Texas, scooping one of your children up and taking him there. And we'll put it in college fund one day. But technically, he's my baby. Like, and you just got to use them. What is the point of having children? I mean, I don't feel like.
What's the point of having children if you're going to use them?
I know my dad bought a huge yard with the house, and so that's why he had so many of us, part of a litter.
Yeah. No, but it's like Jill and Sharp have to come back to Beeville where it all started because another outbreak happened. But why? So then you guys have to come back and y'all been happily married, living. It's funny. I always use Ohio. So it's like, you guys have been living in Ohio forever, because it's.
Now, do I still have that robot arm that you pitched to me one time? Because remember, I got bit.
I don't think so.
I think we just have like a flashback, and I'm like, just cut it off. And then I'm like,
that was one of the original ideas back in the day. Was you're going to show up and you're going to have a robotic arm, and anyways,
but it was going to be. It wasn't going to be like Darth Vader robot arm. It was going to be like, I don't know how to describe, but it was going to be like this big old. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have had to walk around like this because I wouldn't have been able to bend my elbow.
Marcus.
Yes.
John Dog
So
Smith.
what happened was after Scum, everybody vacated because they wanted to get away from everything. And Smith and Wesson had other plans, sheltered, bunkered down, and sent out a message to all the members of Scum, the crew, to come back because it spread worldwide.
Thought he was talking about his life, and he's pitching the sequel.
That's what it should be.
Thought he was talking about his life, and he's pitching the sequel.
But that's a good idea. It's like post about where is everybody now?
Yeah, because we're all gone.
We've all found each other, because obviously Texans survive.
Of course. Why not, right?
Did you base it in Ohio? What is Ohio? What happened there? Nothing. You ever heard of anybody from Ohio?
Well, it's just a really gorgeous place, and that's why you and
he doesn't even know. He doesn't even know. He's never been.
It could be
There's Google Maps.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like we should go Mad Max with it, where I'm like leading an army and somehow, you're loving.
But those pictures only show the good things.
Hold on.
Modern day Civil War.
I'm down with a Mad Max version of Scum too.
Oh, that'd be
There
cool.
you go.
There's
Yeah.
enough
Yeah.
abandoned buildings around here to make that happen.
Hold on.
That's when you can really, because that's the beauty about things like Beeville is they're so psyched to have something like that filmed there. They're so welcoming.
Yeah.
That stuff is so hard. And I have so many friends who work for Film LA, which is what you technically have to go through. How many events I've been at that they're like, so what did you do for your permits? And you can tell the guy's like, Yeah, we definitely had money for it, and we sold out stuff. And you're like, nah, man, nobody does. And specifically for like my World War II thing, like I was like, I'll go out to the desert and just like learn how to blow some shit up. Like pyrotechnics is now on my resume.
Nice.
But I think that's the cool part of things like Beeville. They're so inviting and they're so excited to be a part of things like that, that they're like, it's the filmmaker's dream. Like I think about it all the time. I've thought very specifically being like, how much could I fly the whole crew to Beeville? Because it would
We have a crew here, Kelly.
what type of cameras are you working with? Okay, show me the sound. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
But dude, like, like I honestly think like Beeville would let us blow up buildings as long as we got rid of the shitty ones, you know?
Yeah.
Shit, I did some stuff with my parents. Like, I was like submitting for something for Shonda Rhimes, and I was like, it'd be kind of funny if I was holding like my niece on my hips. I was like, I'm due over Christmas, okay? So like, everyone get down. Like, I need my sister. I'm like, all right, now pan across. I'm just gonna have her and you blow it up behind me, like. But
Nice.
That's the really cool part of filmmaking in Texas, that it's very, they haven't been tainted by bad experiences.
Yeah.
I will
And
say
it's
that
like-
I would demand that we clean up afterwards. People got to come back here and use this place. You throw some stuff in a trash bag.
Yeah, it's like it's crazy too. I mean, in living in Corpus for the past few years, Corpus is the same thing. Corpus is like a bigger Beeville. They don't even know what the fuck to
Dirty.
do whenever
Dirty,
people
man.
show up.
Dirty.
But anyways, guys, I gotta go. I have I'm sitting in my bedroom right now, and my child sleeps in here in her crib. So, also
Right now, we could really dissect this movie.
hey guys, we have like I said earlier, we have one movie review out right now. Look for the link on my Facebook or my Twitter and check it out. It's pretty interesting to see that this guy that we have never even heard of, that we do not know, watched our movie and liked it. So check it out.
Right. And I think it's really cool when the people we don't know have positive things to say about the movie, because it's not your family or a friend kind of giving it to you soft or whatever.
Yeah.
They're really laying it
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
Feels legit.
and like that's why my brother gave it to a few movie reviewers. So this is the first one. We should have two more before the movie comes out. We're doing a premiere. It's called a YouTube premiere, but basically at 9:00 on Thursday, if you go to my brother's YouTube channel, the link is also on my Facebook and on my Twitter. If you just go there, you just subscribe to his channel, click the notification on the actual video, and then it'll count down on Thursday. It's at 9:00 our time, Kelly.
I love when you were like, well, what time is it there? And I was like, I don't know to even Google. I love it though, because this is like, my mom's always like, wait, what time? And I'm like, Mom, it's always 2 hours behind. And obviously you don't hear me bitch about it every time I'm home, because there's always children around. And I'm like, yo, I'm jet lagged. I'm not trying to get up at 5 a.m. with children that aren't mine.
Yeah.
I do want to say, before we cut it all out and everything, I just want to say too, thanks for everybody that showed up and talk about this little independent feature. And I think it'll get some traction. And the guys that live in Beeville, don't get mad at me if you get stopped a lot saying, I saw you on that movie. But no, I live close enough. I'd love to meet everyone, and maybe we can do some, get together or barbecue or something. That'd be real cool to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we need a camera and we need to get together in person if everybody's not afraid of COVID. I'm not wearing a mask if we get together. Just letting y'all know.
Are y'all in Beeville still?
Am I the only one in Beeville?
No, Little Man's in Beeville, Marcus is in Skidmore, Drew's in Bishop, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I am in Corpus.
Okay.
So, and Rebecca is in Beeville, so maybe she'll show up if we meet in person.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah.
Cool.
Yes,
Yeah, we
thank
should
y'all
get
very
together and do a preview of Scum 2.
Hey, I'm gonna be in Texas for like most of April for my sister's wedding. I'll be.
There you go.
Did you say most of
be part of
April?
the cast. So.
There you go.
I'll make her come and watch
There
me.
you
She
go.
all her parts.
Kelly, you said
Man.
most of April.
Yeah, so I'll be there
Well,
from
we could,
like
with that much time, we could get about a 5-minute trailer or something like that. 5-minute preview.
There you go.
The way we do things. The way we do things.
then I can tell my manager that I'm there for work and not just being like, well, haven't booked anything in a while, so I'm just gonna hang out for my sister's wedding.
See, like, man, you guys are all assholes trying to book me on stuff. This is
Still got a camera?
so okay, guys. I gotta go.
So April, we're shooting a preview.
Why don't we just hang out and drink beer and barbecue or something?
Hey, I'm down. I'm down for that.
There you go. All right, man. We'll let you. Yeah. We'll decide. Okay, Aaron, is there anything that you need to plug?
No, just listen to a podcast from Beneath. New episodes every Wednesday. We try to anyway. And then watch B Movie TV. A lot of cool stuff on there. A lot of old, B movies. So, and of course, y'all's trailer will be showing on there for a full month. So
The entire month of April. That's kind of cool.
yeah,
You can check it out if you have
Roku. Yeah, Roku only
yeah
for right now.
for right
So-
now.
Yeah. You know what? Pretty much all my social medias, except for Facebook, you can find me under Aaron Poe. I think you see my goofy face on there. But the rest of my social media is they call me Mr. Poe. And that's on Twitter, Instagram. You can find me on that. So,
There's a lot of Aaron Poes.
yes, there is.
Maybe we'll go the other way route. You can add me because my name's very abnormal. So
For sure. Yes. Like I said, I'm going to stay in contact as much as I can. And, I'll be a gnat in Paul's ear for the rest of his life. So,
Yeah. A welcomed one so far. We'll see.
thank y'all so much.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. This was fun.
Ready?
Yeah, I didn't think it was gonna last 2.5 hours. So,
Yeah.
Is that what she said?
and we're gonna end on that. Thank you very much, ladies and gents. You guys know how to get a hold of me, so do it. See you guys later. Thank you.
Love you guys.
Bye, y'all.
Later, man.
Later.